Okay, so I finally saw the movie. So, okay, I'm gonna keep it as spoiler free as possible, and I will let you know if there's gonna be a spoiler thrown in, into the thrown into the video. So, um, let me just say that, like I've heard some bad reviews on it, and that had, I had some concerns, and I'm like, oh, how can this movie be bad? Why? I mean, like, what's going on? But they said it's mostly because of the characters in the movie. And I have to agree that the characters are not that interesting. They're just kind of there. And you don't really care for a majority of them to make it off the island and whatnot. And another thing I was really concerned of is John C. Riley's character. I thought he was going to be like basically cluttered with humor, like they overkilled the humor and where it was not needed. I thought it was gonna be like how they done with Richard Pryor in Superman 3. I thought they were gonna go that route, but as I'm watching the movie, I was afraid that I was not gonna like that character. But when when we're there, as I'm watching it, as it goes along from beginning, middle, and end, I surprisingly and thankfully, conveniently, um, his character grew on me as the movie went along. Where I'm like, okay, so he, okay, so this character is growing on me, and he wasn't overkilling the humor. It was just like near the beginning, like when we see him for the first time, he was being a little funny, and from there on, he's not trying to like he's not trying too hard with trying to keep the humor in the movie. I mean, yeah, I mean every movie needs funny moments, or most of them do, but this doesn't need to be like a comedy adventure or anything like that. So thank God that was basically not the case. But I gotta say, even Tom Hiddleston's character, as silly as he was, I mean he's a badass, but still he was still kind of silly, and it was still in a very silly way. But his character is more fun to watch than Ford Brody and Godzilla. And speaking of that, and John Goodman's character reminds me of Joe Brody, where he basically knows of knows of what's going on with like with Kong and these creatures going on that nobody's aware of, and he wants to basically prove that they exist. And John C. Riley's character reminds me of Serizawa, where he basically knows of Kong, like where Serizawa basically knows of Godzilla, and basically it's just I mean, it's just pretty much, like there's like some similarities there, and but I mean that doesn't necessarily mean that the pattern is the same as what they were in Godzilla. But as far as their characters go, and like and what positions they sort of have, in their roles in the movie, it's basically the same. Like where one knows knows determined to prove that the monsters exist, and the other knows very well, like and has some history with the monster. So that's pretty cool. And I gotta say, I love how Kong beats on his chest, where it goes like boom, 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 boom. I mean that was, I mean it's badass. It's so badass. And when you see Kong's size, he's actually still growing. He's still closer to where the original size of Kong, but he's still slightly bigger than how Kong is in his original movie. But Kong is still growing, so he's not exactly at Godzilla's size yet. I know it looks like that in the trailers, but when you actually watch the movie, he's not. Excuse me, he's not quite there yet, but he's on his way. So, and I gotta say, that what really is the best part of the movie is when Kong is there kicking ass, and also when they get to the island for the first time, and then Kong just is destroying, the choppers left and right. I mean, that I thought to myself, that's probably how most people would, want to react when they see Jehovah's Witnesses walking up to their front yard. They probably want to have that same kind of reaction. But and another thing is, they don't make you wait, to see Kong at all. You don't have to wait like 30 minutes or anything like that. You see him a lot quicker than than you would expect in in your average like monster movie. I'm not saying it's a bad thing if they make you wait, but still, it's a pretty pleasant surprise, and you get more of Kong in this movie than you got Godzilla in the 2014 version. So I'm like, okay, the amount of screen time that they gave Kong and they gave these other creatures less screen time, that's how they should have done Godzilla. Seriously. But it's still kind of decent for what it was. I thought it was set in modern time, but it's set in the 70s, when we're actually in the movie. But there is a moment in the movie earlier on where it's like decades earlier. So, but and there's some little Easter eggs of Godzilla here and there, and but I mean it's a decent monster flick. It's but it's not. I don't think they're aiming to have some emotional resonance like how the other Kong movies were, where they're not. It's not really about money or anything. It's just basically nature versus nurture. It's not. I mean, that's how all the Kong movies were, but there was like money thrown in there, like where money was the root of all evil. But that element was taken out of the movie. But now it's basically. Well, it's there, but as far as Kong goes, it's sort of taken out, or it's like minimized, where they don't really doesn't become a big thing, but it's more like nature versus nurture, like I said. But yeah, and Samuel L. Jackson's character, what an asshole. Well, he is a total ass. But anyway, with that all being said, I guess this movie deserves, maybe I'd say deserves 3.5 chair spins out of 5. 1, 2, here we go. 3.5 chair spins. And I gotta say, when you see the movie, stay through the credits. Like when I saw that end credit scene, all the hair on my body stood up. Yeah, I was like, I couldn't contain my scream. I wanted to scream so loud. I mean, it was that good. And I will say that they, okay, there's going to be a minor spoiler. Okay, this is where I'm going to get into spoiler talk. So turn off the video here if you have not seen the movie. Stop it right here. Okay. Now, in the end credit scene, they, the characters talk about other creatures, and then Corey Hawkins' character said, "Kong is not the only king," and that's when the hair on my body, everywhere on my head, everything, eyebrows, everything, all the hair on my body stood up like. Aah! And then you see drawings of Godzilla, King Ghidorah, Mothra, Rodan, and it cuts to black, and then we hear Godzilla's roar. They should not have confirmed that they share a universe, and it's pretty awesome how they got the Marvel family, to share the same, where they share the MonsterVerse as well, and that's pretty interesting. You've got Aaron Taylor Johnson, Elizabeth Olsen, and Godzilla, and then you have Brie Larson, Tom Hiddleston, Samuel L. Jackson, John C. Reilly, like in this movie, too. They all share the Marvel Universe. Now they share a MonsterVerse too. That is pretty funny. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but they had to go like, we got people from the Marvel family into these movies now. But yeah, so they should have bit their tongues. They should have kept it under wraps of Godzilla and Kong sharing the same universe, and just have that end credit scene confirmed that they tied in together, kind of like how they did, like, I don't know, like Okay, like what they did with Split, you know, like where they connect Split with another movie. But I'm not gonna say that. And I mean, that's what they should have done, like where it was a big surprise like that. You know, that would be the biggest holy fuck moment if they didn't confirm that Godzilla and Kong share the same world together. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed my review on this movie, make sure you thumb up the video and make sure you click subscribe if you're a newbie to the channel. Thank you for watching. And what did you think of the movie? Did you think it was the best Kong movie? Do you think it could have been done better or what? I don't know. Feel free to tell me in the comment section. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, y'all.